Today, thousands of Aussie children suffer debilitating pain from an illness usually associated with old age. This week, the government has thrown those kids a much-needed lifeline.
7-year-old Ava Swartz loves gymnastics, swimming and is a keen cartwheeler. But little Ava is also living with juvenile arthritis, relying on heavy-duty medication just to keep up with other kids her age.
It's really painful and sometimes I feel like I can't even turn my head.
To have a young child, especially in that much pain and persistently acutely unwell with fevers and whatnot, it was really devastating.
It took 6 months of screaming pain, swollen joints, high fevers and constant ED admissions for Ava to finally get a diagnosis, after a specialist found inflammation in her knees and wrist.
In that instant, he said, well, that's it there, that's the diagnosis, this is definitely juvenile idiopathic arthritis. Even though we knew it was on the cards, to actually get that diagnosis was still a bit of a shock, but also a relief. At least we now had a name to this beast that we had been dealing with.
Juvenile idiopathic arthritis is one of the most common chronic childhood diseases, affecting 6,000 to 10,000 Australian children. It's a serious autoimmune disease that can cause joint deformities and even loss of vision if not diagnosed early and treated effectively.
What needs to change in this scenario is an awareness of the general population that this condition is actually not that rare. It's on a comparable prevalence with both juvenile diabetes or epilepsy, but somehow in the general psyche is this feeling that arthritis is an old person's disease.
And Ava is among the so-called lucky ones. Most kids take 10 to 11 months to be diagnosed, enough time for the disease to inflict major damage.
If we pick up a child with an early diagnosis, we have enough very effective medication to get that child's disease into remission and have them live a normal life.
This week, the government announced an $800,000 funding package aimed at raising awareness among GPs and ED staff to speed up diagnoses for chronically sick kids with juvenile arthritis. Ava's mum, Kate, hopes this announcement will save other families the heartache hers has had to suffer.
This is an important first step. However, there are really big pieces of the puzzle that urgently need addressing, because until they do, there are kids like Ava that are getting pushed through ED departments, GPs, and, they're coming out of it disabled at a really young age. It is a really serious disease and it needs to be seen and understood.
And as for Ava?
That not as many kids have arthritis and I don't, and we have lots more doctors and a lot more money, and the government's understanding more about arthritis and the doctors understanding it too.
Well, someone who's all too familiar with the pain of juvenile arthritis is James, and he joins us now with his mum, Julie. James, let me ask you first. How long have you been living with arthritis?
Well, I was diagnosed at 16 months with arthritis, so I've had it for a good 14 years now.
James, can you describe to me what it feels like to have arthritis? What does the pain feel like?
Well, when I'm in pain, it's like just this constant, sharp, agonising pain, but we have medications that can help me, and so most of the time I'm not in pain, which is always good.
What's something you want people to know about living with juvenile arthritis?
That it does exist. I've had people tell me that I'm just making it up and I'm being a drama queen. So yeah, it does exist and kids do get it, and we're not making it up. We are always in a lot of pain. And the biggest thing is we just want to be normal.
James, you having juvenile arthritis is bad for you. You having it is also terrible for your mum, who's had to watch you helplessly, I imagine, when you're in pain. Julie, what's it like as a mum to watch your son suffer?
It's awful. It's heartbreaking, actually. Especially when he was so little. He was just a baby, a toddler, really, when he was first had symptoms, and there was literally nothing that I could do to comfort him. When he was younger and his pain was bad, he would just sit in the corner and sob and cry. And there was nothing much more that I could do than to give him a hug. But it was the fact that his knees blew up and they became really red and inflamed, and he stopped being able to stand up and he stopped walking. And when I'd take him out of his high chair and put him on the floor, he'd just flop onto the floor. And sort of, oh, mummy, mummy. And there were no medications that took away that pain. And it was nearly 2 years before we got access to the medications that were effective for him. So up until he was 3, he would often be in pain or discomfort, just so sad. And it's heartbreaking to see a child not be able to do the things that other children can do, not be able to join in with play or to meet their milestones or just enjoy life.
So when you say, James, that you're on medication now, I mean, you're a young guy, young man heading into the what we would hope is the best part of your life now as you hit those mid-teens. Is your pain now when you're on the medication, is it gone? Is it just at a manageable level? And are you able to get out, hang out with your mates? Do they understand what you're going through?
Usually it's pretty good. I'm not usually in pain. Well, not that my brain picks up. We think that because I've been in pain for so long, my brain has just been trained that way. So we think there's always an underlying level of pain that I don't pick up. But it's good usually, and I'm able to get out there. I recently raced the Australian Mountain Bike National Championships in the under-17 men's category, which was fantastic for me.
Wow.
Wait, so hang on, you're on a mountain bike?
Yep.
James, I can't do that. I don't have arthritis. You're already better than me. That's amazing.
And this is one of the things that we really want people to understand is our kids with JA look normal and they love doing normal things like being on mountain bikes and being in the outdoors and doing physical activity, but sometimes their body really stops them from doing it. And it's just much, much harder for them. So for James to get to national championships is phenomenal, just getting there and to race and to finish. We're so proud of him.
Well, thank you both very much for joining us and helping us raise awareness on this issue.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.